Well, Razorback fans, Sam Pittman and his job might be on the line. And Sam Pittman did his weekly press conference and was asked about it. So let's discuss his reaction to the question on if he's coaching for his job right now on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors. I am also the host of Out of Bounds. You can catch every weekday afternoon from 1 to 4 on 103.7 The Buzz and 103.7thebuzz.com. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions do apply. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Tuesday, as it's been pretty crazy. We'll talk Razorback basketball at the end of the podcast and that game that they survived last night. But Razorback football, Sam Pittman and his job status, that seems to be what is on the mind of everybody right now. You know, how realistic is it that he keeps his job? Does he keep his job? Does he get fired? Like, what's the overall vibe? What's the overall thing going to happen? Well, he was doing his weekly press conference on Monday at noon, and he knew that the questions were going to be asked, and he came in and addressed the questions, and we'll play a couple of the clips. But the first one is simply, does he feel like he's coaching for his job over the next 2 weeks? Take a listen.
You said up here a few weeks ago that it was your butt on the line. I wonder if these next two games, it feels like you're coaching for next year.
Well, you're always trying to win, so honestly, it doesn't feel a whole lot different than what it does every week. We want to win and coach for our players to be the best they possibly can be. And, in coaching, I think a lot of times you get concerned when you felt like you've had a really good practice week and it doesn't go well on a Saturday. So we went back and tried to figure out if we can change something up. Obviously, it was the same thing we did against Florida, format-wise. But no, I mean, we're trying to win games and trying to do the best we can to put the kids in the best spot to have success.
So Sam Pittman's saying all the right things. He's saying all the right things when it comes to him as a coach, because let's be honest, it's really difficult to find when you're going into the end of the season and you know that you're not making a bowl game and you know that there's a lot of pressure on you to come out and say, hey, is your job on the line? How do you feel about it? Are you about to get fired? And I think that he answered the question right. And so a lot of people had some issues with this, and I honestly didn't. I felt like he said the right things as far as how he needs to approach the game. And he also went on to say how he's talking about being focused on FIU, and that's all he can do is just focus on the next game and focus on the next week and make sure that they do whatever they can. But another really interesting thing, and I think this was the more fascinating clip, was when he was asked about blocking out the noise surrounding his job security and where he's at now. And he went into a little bit of more in-depth details and analysis about this and even got a little bit more personal about it. And it seemed to make a lot of sense. Take a listen to this.
Two SEC coaches fired. I think it's been about 24 hours. And that probably just increases the noise about what, the tough you're here. How do you deal with that? Do you ignore it? Do you address it with, how you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's hard, obviously to block out all noise. You know what I mean? We've got a job to do. And that is to get prepared each and every week. And but Jamie and I, when we got here, we were planning on coaching here until whatever that date was that we were going to go down to Hot Springs and call it a day. I'm not close to that year right now, and the plan is to get this program back to where it deserves to be and stay here as long as we possibly can. And so it's hard. It's obviously, that was a really good question, by the way, but to block out noise, it's more like for the kids, for the recruits, once it starts, a lot of negative stuff, it's about recruiting. And I know what's going on. Hunter Yurchek knows what's going on, but really nobody else it's opinion. They don't really know what's going on but it affects our recruits. So we spent a lot of time yesterday with that as well. But my job is to get ready for FIU. I'm not worried about my job security at all. And I think I'm the guy for the university, and I want to stay here for a long time.
So once again, Sam Pittman getting really detailed about how he feels where he's at right now. And again, I don't have a problem with anything that he said. He said the right things, and he's talked about how he's not worried about his job security. But the reality is there, like, he's doing the right thing. He's saying the right thing. But is that the reality of what's going on surrounding the program? That's the ultimate question. And to me, it's not. You know, there is a lot of angst among the fan base right now, and rightfully so. The team's 3-7. The team got absolutely whipped by Auburn. There's nothing that's really making anyone feel positive about the future of the Sam Pittman era in Razorback football right now. If they if they even won over FIU and Missouri at the end of the season and finished 5-7, that may provide a little bit of a decent feeling, but overall, it's not going to make anybody be happy. And not going into next season, is that going to make anybody feel good about next year? I guess the one possible redeeming quality is that there could be some changes in some regards as far as, you know, who you brought in as an offensive coordinator. Like if you brought in some sort of mastermind, awesome dude in the offensive coordinator position, that maybe be able to provide some sparks. Maybe if you really hit the portal hard and went crazy with that and really brought in some big-time talent, maybe, just maybe, that would be able to provide some of it too. Like, there's a lot of different directions that you could go. But the thing is that Arkansas right now, fans, I think, are frustrated just because of the fact that you have Texas A&M, who has a new coach now, or fired their coach, Jimbo, Mississippi State that fired their coach. Both those teams beat you, and both of those coaches are fired for different reasons and have some craziness attached to them, whether it's Jimbo Fisher's massive buyout or the fact that Zach Arnett didn't even coach a full season. But yeah, here you are in year 4, I guess is what it is, under Sam Pittman, and you've regressed each and every year. And now it's like, okay, so how, like, these people are very serious about hiring a right football coach, and they're taking it to the point to where, you know, they're going to pay Jimbo $85 billion or whatever he's owed. And then you got the thing with Zach Arnett where he didn't even finish a year and he took over under really tough circumstances. I feel like he was a lame duck coach anyways, is the way the Mississippi State kind of treated it all. But it's like, how serious are you as a program if you're going to keep Sam Pittman around? That's the ultimate question. How serious are you as a program? I'm going to need to see some things. Again, I'm not calling for Sam Pittman's job, but I'm going to need to see some things. If you finish this year, we'll just say it's 4-8, because that's probably the best case scenario, but you're not going to beat Missouri. Say you go 4-8, and you decide, Hunter Yurchek, to keep Sam Pittman. I need to see crazy, significant, epic, and amazing changes, like stuff that's really going to be like, okay, maybe this can work out. Maybe this can work out. I'm going to need to see that if we're going to go down that route. I'm not even saying I want to go down that route, but I got to see that. You can't just expect everybody to be on board with Sam Pittman heading into next season with just no reason to be excited, nothing to point to it that's exciting. Like, what will you point to? What will be your, well, this is the thing that's going to be better, or this is the reason why it's going to be improved. This is the reason why we're going to do this. I need something more than that. Razorback fans deserve a lot more than that. So, the question becomes, is Sam Pittman coaching for his job? I think he should be. Is he, though? There would have been a move made already, right? You would think. Wouldn't there be a move made already? I would hope so. But there's still a lot of things to try to go through it all. And I just hope that it's not too little too late for the Razorback football program. Although there is a ridiculous story we're going to have to talk to you about, a stupid movie called The Polar Express in just a second. But folks, I know we spend a lot of time together, you and I, and we get fired up on wins and losses. It's been a lot more losses than wins. and who starts and who sits, but I'm very thankful for that connection. And today I want to chat about something a little bit more personal, because I just learned that you can get 1 year supply on ED medications. You realize what that means. You can bring on all that extended travel and supply chain issues that always come through. You're covered. You are covered, because you don't have to worry about whether or not you can refill those generics for Cialis or Viagra or whatever it is. And this is only possible because of our friends over at Jace Medical. If you go online right now at jacemedical.com to receive your 12-month supply on a daily medication. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for a discount as well. A verified customer had this to say about Jace. Quote, "I am thankful for this service. Supply chain issues caused me to cut my pills in half to have it. I ordered most of my daily meds with a year's supply. I also ordered antibiotics in a kit, and I feel secure now. Prices are lower than local pharmacies. I highly recommend this for everyone," end quote. So if you or someone you love would like to get some peace of mind by having a year's supply of any daily med, go to jacemedical.com to see if it's offered for you. And remember to use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, so next segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Yes, I don't know why I'm going to have to talk about this. This is so dumb, but we're going to have to discuss it. And so for those of you who don't know, there was a viral video that went around on social media, like at the night of the game on Saturday and in the Sunday, that got everyone's attention, where it was filming a quick little video of the filming inside of what looked to be the Razorback locker room at halftime, where there was a TV mounted, and on the TV, they were playing the movie Polar Express, that Christmas movie. Everyone saw this. Everyone lost their minds, went crazy, and of course took it for what they wanted to. I saw this and I'm like, what on earth is going on? What is happening? Like, why is this? First off, why is someone filming this? And why is it being watched? And why is it the stupid movie of Polar Express? Of all movies, that movie sucks. Why are people watching it? So Sam Pittman had to address this. He got to ask the question. And for those of you who need a little bit more clarity on that situation, here's what Sam Pittman had to say.
I know this might be a frustrating question for you, but there was a video, shared on social media about players watching a movie during halftime. I'm wondering, what were your thoughts on the video? Did you see it? And kind of what were your thoughts on kind of the reaction from people when they saw it?
What was the show? Yeah, I haven't seen Polar Express, but so I don't really know my thoughts on the movie. But, in our locker room, I want to reward our kids by letting them run through the A if they practice well. And so we don't have enough lockers in our main locker to house all the kids. So some of them have to go in a separate locker, and it's separate and a separate door to the locker. And so young man, I've already addressed it with him. He made a mistake. That's why we don't, you don't want cameras in a locker room for several reasons, because of the showering, you're this, that, and the other. But it's hard because the music's on it as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's a team rule. You can't have but there also is a team rule. You don't post anything, after Friday night, after we leave on Friday. And so the young man made a mistake, sent it to a friend sent it to his brother put it out on what have you. And I've already addressed it, and I think we're fine there. But it was just a mistake that a young man made, and I wish he wouldn't have. But he came in, he was sorry for it, he was very remorseful for it, and so we're going to move on.
Polar Express. Okay, so here's the thing. This is dumb for many reasons. And I'm glad that Sam Pittman was asked the question. I'm glad Sam Pittman addressed it, because it's a big nothing burger, folks. Like, do you think people were like, if you were one of these idiots that thought that at halftime of the Razorback game against Auburn, where they were down, that Sam Pittman and the football team, and KJ Jefferson is just like, hey, what's on the tube? Oh man, Polar Express. I love this movie. I'm gonna sit here and watch it instead of getting ready for the second half. Like, if any of you thought that that was actually what was going on, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it was a bad look, no doubt. But the fact that there were some people that just didn't want to even hear an explanation, they just wanted to assume the worst of the worst because they want Sam Pittman fired or they want everyone fired, it is so absurd, and it's really frustrating. Yes, I think it's dumb. But my first response when I saw that video was not, oh, they're watching a movie at halftime instead of focusing on the second half of the game. My first reaction is, why are they watching that trash movie, Polar Express? They should, if you're going to watch a movie, watch something better. You know why? Because I knew for a fact that it wasn't going on in the main locker room. Like, they weren't watching the Polar Express instead of planning and adjusting and trying to get better in the second half, which they didn't. Who knows? Maybe Polar Express would have helped them. I don't know. But it's just a big nothing burger, folks. Like, that had nothing to do with the impact of the team or of the game or anything. But people just like to take this to another level. And that kid that put it out there, the fact that, not many places have a walk-on locker room. It's like a big closet over to the side. And from my understanding, my inside sources tell me that's like they don't even know where the remote is to that TV. Like, they just apparently just turns it on and it's whatever the channel's on is on. So, because again, I doubt anybody was really watching Polar Express. But somebody sent it. It was a bad look. And because but if Arkansas won, this wouldn't even be a problem. But because they lost, people are freaking out and they hate it. So that was the case. But still, this is the kind of stuff that just really annoys me because so many people make a bigger deal than what it needs to be. And they lose their minds and it gets addressed. But I just look at it as something funny. I don't look at it as some sort of like bad look, like a black eye on somebody that's like, oh my goodness, Sam Pittman's lost the team. They're watching Polar Express. I just look at it as something funny and dumb that came out. Sorry, but that's just the way it is. We'll do a little Razorback basketball recap here in just a second. Folks, these days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business, and you want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you need to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. So just go to linkedin.com/lockedoncollege and you can post your job for free with the purple hashtag hiring frame for the LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on the candidates with the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rank LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality candidate hires versus their leading competitors. So check it out today, linkedinjobs.com, and they will help you take your candidates and find them faster and for free. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Razorback fans, I know football is on a lot of people's minds here recently, as in today, and been talking a lot about it, but do have to get into a little bit of the Razorback basketball side of things as the game has just come to officially an end, 86-77. Arkansas ends up winning this game by a 9-point victory, and it was honestly a game that I felt like Arkansas going into it would be pretty dominant and kind of just win the games like they normally have. But good grief. It was a frustrating game, but in a weird game, especially in the second half. Like, that was the thing where Arkansas and Old Dominion, it was 37-31 in the first half. Both offenses did not look great. Didn't necessarily shoot the ball particularly well. Had a lot of weird plays. And then in the second half, it was just kind of an offensive explosion between the two. Arkansas still outscored Old Dominion 49-46. And that's, I guess, where I'll look at it as the positive into this particular game. Maybe some of you won't, and that's fine, but I'm going to look at it more of the positive side of things, where you had Old Dominion. I don't think they could miss. Like, I have never seen anything like it. In the second half alone, Old Dominion went 8 of 13 from three-point land. 8 of 13, 61% from three-point land, 49% from the field in the second half alone. And Arkansas still won the game by 9 points. Arkansas Overall, didn't shoot the ball well from the free throw, went 62%. Got to do a lot better than that. But did shoot all right from three-point land, I'd say, as they went 8 of 19 from three-point land. That's 42%. So pretty good on that front, 51% overall. And honestly, like, it was a weird game. It was just one of those games to where Arkansas's defense at times kind of had a letdown, but offensively, they did a pretty good job, because that's what's crazy is like Arkansas only had 4 turnovers in this game. 4 turnovers, and they caused 10 turnovers for Old Dominion. Arkansas had 12 fouls. Old Dominion had 22 fouls. The one thing that is a little bit concerning is that you had a big out-rebounding advantage for Old Dominion. 39 rebounds to 35 rebounds, which a lot of that also has to do with just the fact of, how you're playing and the way you're playing and the type of shots that you're taking, or at least the other team is taking. But I felt like, honestly, Arkansas's offense was really good in this game. How about some of the big-time minutes and the big-time plays you got? Devo Davis had a great game. I was waiting for him to get that one. 6 of 11 from the field for him. Had 5 rebounds, 2 assists. But how about my guy, L. Ellis? 17 points, 7 of 11 from the field. 8 assists, 3 rebounds, no turnovers. No turnovers. Outstanding game from L. Ellis, and that's the type of guard that he can be, that dynamic guard that he can be. Trevin Brazil gets 11 points, 3 of 7 from the field, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, also had 2 turnovers. And if I'm not mistaken, he in the first half, so he had 4 block shots in the game, and all of them were in the first half. I was hoping he could be able to surpass his 5, but overall, like that was pretty solid from him. Caleb Battle is still an incredible offensive threat. 13 points, 3 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 5 of 6 from free throw line. Tremont Mark only had 7 points in this game, but did have 6 rebounds. And then Mekhi Mitchell. Mekhi Mitchell coming off the bench, 15 points, 10 rebounds, a little double-double for Mekhi. So it was good to see that. Again, offensively, I felt like Arkansas did really good. And also take into this consideration, in the first half, Tremont Mark and Caliph Battle, keep on saying it, Caliph Battle, both those guys had 2 really early fouls. In fact, I think the first 4 fouls that Arkansas committed there in the first half, 2 of them were by Battle and the other 2 were by Tremont Mark. So they had to come out of the game for an extended period. So I had to keep that in perspective. But yeah, offensively, I liked what the team did. I think there was, again, you had some really good performances out of a few of those guys. Some guys struggled. But, think about Chandler Austin only played 6 minutes in this game because Mekhi was doing such a good job. That was really, the free throw shooting was pretty poor at 8 of 19 from the field, or from the free throw line. You did have caused 10 turnovers, and it led to 18 points. Like, that's a really good deal. 18 points off of turnovers when you gave up, and you haven't have 10 turnovers. That's good. Bench points actually favored Old Dominion. You had more points in the paint. Steals were even. Assists were pretty close. So game was pretty close, as you can imagine. And as you could see. Defensively, though, you had no answer for old Jenkins, man. That guy went for 21 points, 8 of 19 from the field, 3 of 6 from three-point land. And then Caesar had 18 points. He was 8 of 12 from the field. 8 of 12. So those 2 guys were just unstoppable. Blakeney was pretty good too. He had 14 points, 5 of 6 from the field. So it's like those 3 guys is really the only reason this team was in it. Like, you didn't get really much from anybody else. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to look this up. I think it was Jenkins. Is that who it was? Yeah, I think Jenkins was the one that was averaging like 3 points a game. He's averaging 3 points a game. And, no, that wasn't him. Who was it? Who was it? The guy that averaged 3 points a game? Oh, yeah, it was Caesar. Caesar was the one that he had 18 points tonight, 8 of 12 from field, and only averaged 3 points per game. So he really came out of nowhere. But overall, just the defense wasn't great. Had too many open looks. You got to give a lot of credit, though, to Old Dominion for making some big shots. And, you have one of those games. I'm glad that they were able to win. I'm glad that they were able to take care of business, and even if it was a 9-point victory, I think you're going to take a win no matter what, especially knowing how many times you've had issues, with teams that have come into Bud Walton Arena shooting lights out. Only 7 free throws for Old Dominion. So it didn't really drive the lane as much. Arkansas had, hold on a second. Oh, sorry. No, they only shot 5 free throws. 5 free throws compared to Arkansas's 29. Sure, that won't be brought up or complained about. Sure, that won't be happening. But yeah, take a victory when you can get it. So Arkansas now is sitting at officially 3-0, as we all expected, and they have one more game until they get to the battle for Atlantis. They got UNC Greensboro coming up on the 17th of November, which I believe is Friday. So that game's going to be at 7 p.m. at Bud Walton. And then after that, they travel on to the Battle of Atlantis, or Fort Atlantis, however you want to put it. So, but again, good victory. Arkansas takes care of business, and that's that.